Hello, welcome you all. Today we are going to learn about the evolution of unicellular eukaryotes, aerobic and anaerobic photosynthesis. So, what do you mean by the unicellular eukaryotes? Uni means single, right? So, unicellular eukaryotes, we have learned that in Oparin theory, this concept has taken its roots, right? Where the concept of protobiont arose, and this concept of protobiont gave rise to the heterotrophic prokaryotes. And apart from the heterotrophic prokaryotes that were taking their food from the surrounding, because in the previous time there was all around the water, the protein, nucleic acid was there, okay, nucleotide was there, so that particular cell was taking the nutrition. So from that heterotrophic prokaryote concept came, and the heterotroph concept came when all these cells who were there in the water, they have utilized all the organic material, then at the end they require more food. So what they did, let us say there is a large cell, so they were dependent upon the small cell. Small cell denied that you can't eat me, but yes, we can have a mutual relation. So the mutual relation here understood in terms of this small cell started living in the large cell. Means they have a endosymbiotic relationship, and from that the concept of unicellular eukaryotes arise, and in this way they both have given the benefit to each other. So whatever the nutrition this eukaryotes were having, that a particular cell was having, so in this way this larger cell was taking from the same. In this way, they were taking a nutrition by themselves from each other. So that was a symbiotic form, or example of a symbiotic form. They were residing, and the concept of endosymbiotic theory of the eukaryotes arose from there. Means single cell, unicellular. This was the one, right? The single cell is functioning based upon the cellularity. So now it's come to eukaryotes. But when it comes to aerobic and anaerobic photosynthesis, what kind of role they play? Actually, they both are different topics, but they have the same destination in terms of oxygen presence and the oxygen absence. So let us discuss the same. You can see here the reaction mentioned over here, right? So this reaction is something based upon the 6CO2, right? 6CO2, 12H2O, light energy. Light energy coming from the sun. So sun is the source for it. Okay. Oxygenic, it means it requires the presence of O2. So this reaction is occurring where the water is taking part, carbon dioxide is there, and the light energy by which the photons are coming. Photons are coming, and these photons, with the help of light energy, that the photons are coming on the particular photosystem. Let us say photosystem first, that will be going to discuss photosystem second in our next slide. So in this way they are generating glucose, and glucose generated in the presence of sun, and the sun glucose led to generation of the ATP. So this is the process of the oxygenic. Why it is oxygenic? Because it involves the presence of O2 and ATP, sorry. So this ATP and this O2 combining because of the water and carbon dioxide and light energy result in formation of the same, as well as the molecule, that is important organic molecule, is glucose over here. So this is clear. Now if we talk about N-oxygenic, so why we are calling it N-oxygenic? Here also the same source is there, light energy. But here this A is something, we don't know which is that the next type of element mentioned over here. This is your S, let us say, hydrogen sulfide. They do not use O2. However, they require light energy, but they do not use O2, and because of that there is no O2, no water, and it results in the formation of the carbohydrate. In the reactant side there is no water, so this A will be released, okay, in different form. Let us say H2 will be utilized by those anaerobic one, or the N-oxygenic one, they don't require O2, and this S is released in some another form. Okay, so carbon dioxide and the electron donor to H2A, okay, along with the light energy. H2A can be H2O, H2S, or H2. H2 can be they use, but some of them do not use. So we can take exceptional case. Okay, it is not important they use every time H2O. There are different forms are there. because different bacteria, let us say purple bacteria, okay, we have nitrifying bacteria, Those who require the iron, they don't use because they don't require water. But some of them require the water. So in this way, this is an important process to understand which is occurring in presence of O2 and which is not occurring. In oxygenic, we have the two cases. Some of them require water, some of them not. But eventually this reaction involving water, so we will consider it in that direction. Okay, but there is no O2. This is a fixed point. Now, let us consider the same thing. Why we are learning this? This came from the emergence of eukaryotes. So first evidence of life dates to 3.5 billion years ago. So this reminds us about the experiment when there was no life, but eventually when the rain started and the explosion of the single cell resulted in the generation of the matter, energy, gases. Eventually that, at that time when that, that particular, explosion happened, that single cell was there. And the single cell exploded, and that explosion of a single cell, this cell when exploded, it resulted in the release of the matters, and that is in form of a gases, and those gases turn to biomolecule, and these biomolecule turns to the macromolecule. This was the actual reality that was happening. So the first evidence of life dates to 3.5 billion years ago, and the first cell were like the bacterial life. In this way these things happened, okay, and they played the important role. Now, first eukaryote appeared at the 1.6 billion years ago. This is the most important point, and the rise of the oxygen happened along with the same. Oxygen rose with the eukaryotes, okay. Oxygen rose with the land plants, that is one of them are the eukaryotes, some of them are prokaryotes also. Eukaryotes arose and diversified with low oxygen, anaerobic and ATP synthesis ensued. This line is actually reminding us about, let us say there was a primitive environment, okay, everything was old, nothing was new. So they were like, they were having such thing in their mind that when the primitive environment was there, so definitely no eukaryotes is there. You will take the example of, let us say, we have the advanced phone right now. 10 years back, we were not having those, Nokia C2, or let us say, these were there, but this time we cannot use the same because we have iPhone 15, 14, okay, we have like different brands right now in the market. So primitive environment was responsible for the low oxygen because there were no requirement. Everything was occurring, sunlight is coming, photons, and things were happening. But eventually O2 was not a part, and the anaerobic photosynthesis was the concept of this. That's why we are learning this topic, The motivation of this topic was the anaerobic photosynthesis. This anaerobic energy metabolism in mitochondria is common among the eukaryotic lineages. This is something about, how this metabolism, anaerobic metabolism was taken place. How the electron and the water has played the important role. So let us move with the same. Origin of complex eukaryotic cell based upon the symbiosis means the same concept. Small is there in the large one, okay, and the modification of engulfed prokaryote into an organelle. So this was considered as the mitochondria one. So this was the concept actually, the primary endosymbiosis. Endo means inside, symbiosis, mutualistic relationship. Aerobic bacteria engulfed by the bacteria. Aerobic bacteria. Why? Because it was an oxygen base. Let us say if we utilize everything in the plate, then at the moment if we feel still hungry, then whatever I'm having in front of me, I will try to take that also. No matter that whether I like or not. If we have an empty stomach. After utilizing all the food, if I am still feeling hungry, then it means I am so much